Look closely at the timestamp on this map. 6:22 p.m. The suspect is fleeing the scene of an execution. He thinks he is hidden by the darkness, but then he taps share location. He thought he was just asking for a ride home. In reality, he just pinned himself to a murder charge.
I just want to know why. My baby would have had so much to offer you guys. At 14, he had handlings like this.
Most killers make their mistake at the crime scene. They leave a fingerprint on a doorframe, a hair fiber on a jacket, a drop of blood on the pavement. But modern killers, they make their mistakes in the cloud. This is the search history of a man named Steven Sopko. He has already committed the crime. He thinks he has gotten away with it. He is sitting in his bedroom, alone with his thoughts, and he types this into his iPhone. He is asking the internet for legal advice. But look at the phrasing. Things they need. He knows they are coming. He just doesn't know when. What a visionary killer. This isn't just fear. This is narcissism. This is a suspect who is reading news reports about his own violence and searching for a compliment. He wants to know if the world sees him as a mastermind. He doesn't realize that while he is searching for answers, his phone is answering questions for the police. Every ping, every search, every deleted message is building a cage around him. To understand the murder, we have to understand the obsession. Steven Sopko Jr. lived his life online. His Instagram handle was geteven_22. In criminal psychology, we call this leakage. It's when a suspect projects their intentions before they act. Get even. It implies a score needs to be settled. Steven had a fascination with power, specifically firearm power. His feed was a gallery of Glocks, extended magazines, and laser sights. But his real-world life was spiraling out of control. Steven's girlfriend, Jasmine, was pregnant. This should be a happy time. But the relationship was toxic. It was rotting. Jasmine wasn't just distancing herself. She was spending time with someone else. A 14-year-old boy. The victim. Now, we have to look at the communications. This is the psychological buildup. On the morning of November 5th, the day of the murder, Steven sends a text to Jasmine. Listen to the passive aggression. Fine, I guess. It's over. I want to talk it out, but I get it. You want to live a life without me. He plays the victim. He tries to induce guilt. But then, the switch flips. I'm just going to block you, and if you want, you have your mom call me when you're having the baby, but bye. Bye. He says he is leaving. He says he is blocking her. This is a common tactic in domestic abusers and stalkers. It's a discard phase meant to lower the victim's guard. He wants her to think he's gone. But the digital evidence proves that while his mouth said goodbye, his feet were moving closer. He didn't go home to Parma. He didn't go to his uncle's house on Neville Avenue. He went hunting. It is 6 p.m. The sun is down in Cleveland. Jasmine lives on Holyrood Road. It's a quiet street near East 91st and Edmonds. We have surveillance video from a nearby home. It's grainy, but the body language is crystal clear. We see two males. One is the 14-year-old victim. The other is dressed in dark clothing. This is the suspect. They are walking together. This suggests familiarity. The victim isn't running. He isn't scared. He thinks he is walking with a friend, or at least an acquaintance. But watch what happens next. This is the moment of prior calculation and design. That's the legal term for premeditation. The suspect stops. He bends down. To the victim, it looks like he's tying his shoe. It's the oldest trick in the book. A physical ruse to pause the movement and let the target walk past. The suspect is creating a blind spot. He waits for the victim to expose his back. The victim takes a few more steps. The suspect stands up. He draws a firearm. 15 shots. This isn't a robbery. This isn't a warning. This is an eradication. The suspect fires until the victim falls into the street. And here is the most chilling part. The part that prosecutors later used to prove this was aggravated murder. The shooter starts to turn away, then pauses, and fires again. He is making sure. The timestamp is 6:20 p.m. The shooter vanishes into the shadows. In a pre-digital world, this might have been the perfect crime. No witnesses, dark clothing, no face. But the shooter has a cell phone in his pocket, and that cell phone is screaming his location to every tower in Cleveland. For 3 days, the police have nothing. Just a body and casings. Then, on November 8th, the phone rings. It's an anonymous tipster, and they don't just give a name, they give a narrative. The tipster tells Detective Kellums, his name is Steven. He was walking with the boy. He pretended to tie his shoe, and then he shot him in the back. The detail about the shoelace is critical. That information hadn't been released to the public. Only the killer, the police, and someone the killer bragged to would know that. The tipster gives the police two things: a phone number and an Instagram account. @get_even_22. Detective Kellums runs the number. It comes back to Steven Sopko Jr. He pulls up the @get_even_22 Instagram. He compares the photos on the account to Sopko's DMV photo. It's a match. The suspect has a face. Now, they need to place him at the scene. They subpoena the phone records. And this is where the timeline becomes impossible to defend. At trial, the defense tried to fight this. They argued that cell tower data is vague. They said a ping covers a wide area, not a specific spot. And they are technically right. A single ping usually covers a sector wedge. Think of it like a slice of pie radiating out from the tower. It can be a 1/4 mile wide. But Steven Sopko didn't just ping the tower. He created a trail. 6:18 p.m. Sopko's phone connects to the tower sector covering Holyrood Road. He is in the pie slice of the murder scene. 6:20 p.m. The shots are fired. 6:22 p.m. 2 minutes post-murder. The phone moves sectors. The FBI agent testified that the speed of the sector change indicates running, or a fast car. But then, Sopko makes a critical error. An error born of desperation. He needs a ride. He is stuck on the street with a murder weapon. So, at 6:22 p.m., he opens his GPS app and shares his precise live location with his uncle. He stripped away the anonymity of the cell tower wedge and gave the satellites his exact coordinates. He pinned himself to the getaway route. The police know he was there, but they still need the murder weapon. And suddenly, the case takes a weird turn. Police arrest a man named Taiwan McCarthy on a totally unrelated charge. In his pocket, a Glock 19. They run it through NIBIN, the National Integrated Ballistic Information Network. Every gun leaves a unique fingerprint on the shell casing. The firing pin hits the metal, leaving a microscopic scratch. The lab compares the casing from McCarthy's gun to the casings found next to the 14-year-old victim's body. It's the murder weapon. Defense attorneys love this. They point at McCarthy and say, "There is your killer. You caught him with the gun." But McCarthy has an alibi, a digital alibi. At the exact moment the shots were fired, McCarthy was on a FaceTime call. You can't fake that data. He didn't pull the trigger. So how did he get the gun? We go back to get-even_22, 4 days after the murder. Sopko posts on his story, selling Glock 19. A day later, he posts, looking to buy a new Glock. Sopko didn't dump the gun in a river. He didn't bury it. He sold it on the street to distance himself from the crime. He treated a murder weapon like used furniture. He unwittingly created a chain of custody that led right back to him. January 5th, 2024. The End Game. Sopko is arrested in Parma. They find his iPhone, and when the digital forensics team unlocks it, they find a window into his mind in the weeks after the killing. He was paranoid. Search query. 14-year-old boy dies after being shot in Cleveland. Search query. A shooting on 91st and Half in Cleveland. He was arrogant. Search query. What a visionary killer. He wasn't remorseful. He was Googling phrases that made him feel powerful. He wanted to see if the media was giving him a nickname. And finally, he was terrified. Search query. How to remove wipe iPhone. Search query. Things they need to convict you with. Murderer. This is consciousness of guilt. Innocent people don't ask Google how to wipe their phones. Innocent people don't ask what evidence is needed to convict a murderer. The trial was a landslide. The defense tried to argue cumulative error, basically saying that even if one piece of evidence wasn't enough, all the small mistakes added up to an unfair trial. The appeals court rejected it. Why? Because the evidence wasn't small. It was overwhelming. The shoelace ruse, the cell tower ping, the location share, the NIBIN match, the search history. Steven Sopko wanted to be known as a visionary killer. He wanted the fame. He got 31 years to life. The only vision he has now is the view from a cell block. If you want to see how digital forensics are catching more killers, click that video on the left. And don't forget to subscribe.